Okay, today I got my brother-in-law's 98 S10 in the shop. It's a four-wheel drive. He's having a no start issue sometimes. It happens when the temperature when the temperatures swing real fast. So I'm thinking maybe he's getting moisture in the distributor or under the cap there, so I'm going to change that out and the rotor. Another thing is it's got a coolant leak, and I think it's the lower radiator hose, so I'm going to change that out. At least I hope it's the lower radiator hose, because if it's not, it's probably the intake. And these trucks have a ton of stuff to do that. But I'm going to try these fixes, and hopefully it works. Okay, there's two little screws there that hold the distributor cap on. It looks like it's a T20 Torx bit is what you're going to need to get that. And then there's another one back here, and you gotta take them both off to get the cap off. Okay, now that the cap's off, there's the rotor, and it's held on with two screws. Okay, them two screws are taken off, and it's a T15 is what took them off. And well, you can see the corrosion on there, and that's black, so I think I found the problem. Gonna drop in a new one. Okay, here's the new one, there's the old one. Gonna compare them, make sure that they're the same or close. And the new one came with new screws for the cap and the rotor, so I'm going to use them, and I'm going to install it right now. Okay, I don't know if that cap can go on 180 degrees the opposite way or not, but just make sure you put it in the same direction it was facing when you took it out. So it's on there and ready for the new cap. I got the wires there sitting exactly the way they come off. So I'm going to put them three on. Then the distributor is still in here with the cap. Then I'll take them off one at a time so I don't get anything mixed up, and put the new cap on. One thing I like to do is put some dielectric grease on each one of the spark plugs. This is actually from my Western plow. I just had some, so I used it. This helps keep moisture out. Well, I'm going to try to get this hose off without taking the shroud off. I think I got enough room to do it, but I'll find out in a second here. Okay, I got the clamp off by the water pump, but I had to take the battery out to be able to get to that clamp there to the radiator, and I'm going to take that off next. One thing when you're messing with this, you're going to make a mess, so be prepared. I'm going to take this clamp off and see if I can't wiggle the new hose in there. Okay, here's the old hose, new hose. They look pretty similar. Both got a little flare here in the end. I didn't really find any holes or anything, but this looks pretty stretched out right here, so I'm hoping that was the problem. It's not really looking good for that being the leak, but I'm not going to do away with this clamp. Put a regular clamp here. It's just easier to get this on. These are kind of tough, limited space. Had to get my fancy long pliers to get it off. But it did come out of there without taking anything out but the battery. And I'm going to slide her back in. Okay, the hose is in. And I'm going to put the battery back in. And then put the antifreeze back in. And give her a test, and hopefully she don't leak and she starts good. Okay, it actually took me quite a while to get that antifreeze back in this truck. Basically I had to fill the radiator up, run it for a little bit, shut it off, fill the radiator up again. It actually took quite a while to actually get it all filled up. And then the hose was leaking. The new hose I put on was leaking. So I tightened that up, and I don't know, seems like sometimes it's leaking, sometimes it's not. It might be that transmission fitting that is leaking. And I put a new water pump in this, and it looks like it's leaking right there from that deal there. So probably going to have to change the water pump again. Okay, while I was under the truck, I was looking for the coolant leak, and it is leaking from that brand new lower radiator hose that I put on. So I'm gonna, I guess, keep tightening that clamp until it stops leaking. And for the leak on the top of the water pump, looks to me like it's still leaking up there, so might have to do another water pump. I put the water pump in this, maybe 3 months or so ago. And that's not an easy job. But if this one's leaking, I'm gonna have to change it. We'll see.